Spider-Punk is another alternate version of the wall crawler crashing onto the big screen in the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie. But who is he? Let's find out. What's up, my comic comrades? With Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 introducing so many different versions of the character to the big screen, one of the Spider-Verse characters we knew we had to talk about is Spider-Punk. He's become a fan favorite since his introduction, and today we're going to break down his origin. We also want to let you guys know that we have some big announcements coming up here on Planet Variant. We've been telling you guys for some time now that behind the scenes we've been hard at work cooking up a new era for Variant as a platform, and we are announcing the first piece of that evolution in our next episode on Wednesday, May 31st, which will be the history of Nova. So set a reminder, write it on your calendar, do whatever you need to do. Just make sure you watch our episode on Wednesday, May 31st at 6 p.m. CST for the first of several big announcements coming up for Variant. It's like our own little origin of its own, you know? And speaking of origins, I've told you guys many times, like Miles Morales, I'm Puerto Rican by nationality, but I've always wondered what my full ancestry looked like, so I lent some of my DNA to today's sponsor, MyHeritage, to find out. Well, I just got my results and we're gonna open them together. I'm actually pretty freaking excited about this. If you're wondering how this is possible, MyHeritage is a leading global family history and DNA service that makes exploring your roots incredibly simple. In fact, they send you a kit with step-by-step instructions to collect the samples they need to analyze your DNA. You just swab both cheeks for 30 seconds, insert the swabs into the vials, place them in the plastic bag, insert it into the enclosed envelope, slap a stamp on it, and ship it off to their lab. And I recommend you adding a tracking option when you send for peace of mind. Anyway, the whole thing takes 2 minutes and then you'll get your results in 3 to 4 weeks. But it's been a few weeks since I sent off my DNA kit and I just got my results. So let's see what soup your boy's made of.
All right, so my MyHeritage results are in, and what I've been told my whole life from my parents and my family is I'm basically like 100% Puerto Rican, Hispanic. Let's see what I actually am. 30% Iberian from Spain, 23.1% Mesoamerican, 16.7% Italian, bro, I'm Italian, 9.9% Nigerian. That's pretty cool. All right, so it breaks down the other 20 or so percent. So Nigerian, like I just said, is 9.9%, North African, 8.5%, Kenyan, 3.9%, and West African, 2.9%. Ultimately, I am still Puerto Rican, but it's really interesting to see how all my different ancestors made what I am now, and I wouldn't suspected that they all came from these different places of the world. So this is really cool to know.
So there you have it. Like most of us, I'm essentially a hybrid. But this was stupid fun and really interesting to learn how broad my roots actually are. I highly recommend you do this for yourself. Just click the link in the description to order your DNA kit today. And if you use our coupon Variant, you'll get free shipping. And as a bonus, you can start a 30-day free trial of MyHeritage's best subscription for family history research and enjoy a 50% discount if you decide to continue. Lastly, a huge thank you to MyHeritage for making this possible. So now that we know my real-world origins, let's dive into Spider-Punk's comic origin. He was created by Dan Slott and Oliver Coipel and first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man 10 in January of 2015. The crazy thing about Spider-Punk is that his design was supposed to be a Spider-Man UK design, and while everyone liked the design, Slott thought it looked way more punk rock. So rather than throw it away, it was repurposed and turned into the design for Spider-Punk. As far as his fictional origin goes, Spider-Punk is from Earth 138, and this Spider-Man is not a variant of Peter Parker. Nope. Instead, Spider-Punk is actually a variant of Hobie or Hobart Brown, aka 616 Prowler. And we learn in Spider-Verse 2 that Hobie or Spider-Punk is from a fascist corporate America. And because of this, the youth developed anger and hate, which was expressed and released in the form of punk rock, something they plan to use to take down the elites of this world. And the leader of this punk rock rebellion was Hobie. You see, Hobie was originally a teenage squatter who would end up being bitten by a radioactive spider created by illegal waste dumping, as stated in Spider-Verse 2. This spider bite, of course, gave him spider-like powers, and with his newfound powers, he decided to meld that with his punk rock influence, becoming Spider-Punk. In the same issue, we see Spider-Punk and his followers stand up against President Norman Osborn, as Osborn's police units come in to stop Spider-Punk and his army. The comic says it's morning again in America, and under the leadership of President Osborn, the sun has risen once again, sending the vermin scuttling to the dark, the rats and the spiders, as we see Spider-Punk standing on top of a truck with his guitar and guitar pedals ready to fight Osborn's army. He then says to himself, "I'm a radioactive suicide machine, and this is the Spider Army, the stepped on, beat down, hard luck losers." We then see see Norman Osborn step in front of his police, as we see that his police have symbiotes. We also see a TV ad developed by Oscorp that says, "The variable engagement neurosensitive organic mesh has helped save the lives of the brave men and women of the Thunderbolt Department as they fiercely root out subversion and weakness." Keeping America strong, Oscorp. So apparently on this Earth, Osborn has created his own Venom symbiote. The variable engagement neurosensitive organic mesh is Venom as an acronym. Osborn then tells Spider-Punk, "It had to be this way, Spider-Man. We're in the business of making America great again, and there's no room in it for you and your punks. One last sweep and we'll have this country all cleaned up," as Osborn and his police all don their Venom symbiotes. This world's Captain America, called Captain Anarchy, then yells to the Spider Army, "Hold the line." As Spider-Punk says, "We don't have the authority on our side, the cops or the media. What we have are angry hearts." Clenched fists, love, and rage, and 15,000 watts of punk rock from an army of amps set to 11 as he strums his guitar, releasing 15,000 watts of punk rock onto Osborn and his Venom police. As Spider-Punk's Spider Army starts wrecking the world because, as we know, intense sound is Venom's weakness. With Osborn weakened from extremely loud punk rock, Spider-Punk goes over to him with Osborn trying to pull out a gun, saying, "It's going to take more than 3 chords to stop me." But Spider-Punk says, "Come on, is that all you got? Is that all you got?" as he smashes his guitar right through Osborn's head, killing him. Spider-Punk then takes off his mask and holds his guitar in the air, saying, "That was the day we beat the cops. That was the day we beat the president. That was the day we took America back from the ones who would crush us under their boots." As the epilogue shows us, Superior Spider-Man is there to recruit Spider-Punk, revealing on his device that Spider-Punk's identity is Hobart Brown. Now, back in June of 2022, Spider-Punk was given his own series. In the series, Spider-Punk deals with the ramifications of his world, Earth 138, after the death of President Norman Osborn by his hands. Essentially, chaos is running the streets with Norman out of the equation, and it's up to Spider-Punk and his gang to keep this in check. We even see that this world's Taskmaster was hired and sent to get rid of Spider-Punk and his gang from their spider base that was located on top of President Osborn's secret facility. We also find out that Osborn may not be dead after all. It's a really fun read that's only 5 issues. Now, as for powers and abilities, Spider-Punk pretty much has all the powers as the standard Spider-Man. So the proportional strength of a spider, increased speed and endurance, and even reflexes of a spider. And of course, he could stick to walls and shoot webs and has a spider sense. Now, being the punk rock Spider-Man, he's a little more aggressive than Peter Parker and headbutts his opponents, which hurts quite a lot, especially since he has punk rock spikes that form a mohawk on his head. Dude also uses his guitar as a weapon like he did to kill Norman Osborn, smashing him over the head with it. This one's kind of cool. He has the power of punk rock, basically meaning he could use his excellent guitar skills to hit notes and use amplifiers to hurt or incapacitate his opponents with sound waves, as we saw him do to Osborn and his police. Basically, he's the Bill and Ted of the Marvel Universe. He's just a punk rock version of Spider-Man, and that's pretty awesome all by itself. But before we wrap up, you know we've got some Spider-Punk Essential reading for you. You'll want to start with Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, issues 10 through 14, which is the Spider-Verse event where Spider-Punk was introduced. It's a fun story that brings together Spider characters from many different universes to combat the villain Morlun. Then there's Spider-Verse 2. This comic is an anthology of sorts that dives into the stories of different Spider characters. Spider-Punk has a short but significant story in this issue. Next, you want to check out Spider-Geddon Spider-Punk 1 through 2 from 2018. This 2-issue miniseries delves deeper into the character of Hobie Brown and his punk rock world. And lastly, pick up Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 from 2019. This is a one-shot tie-in to the animated film, and it features a short story about Spider-Punk that could prove super relevant. But there you have it, guys, the origin of Spider-Punk, one of the coolest alternate versions of Spider-Man. This character has a lot of potential, so I'm very curious to see what they do with him in Across the Spider-Verse. Let us know what you think of Spider-Punk down in the comments, but other than that, we'll see you in the Spider-Verse.